Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Krysan. TK rocking the pink Tremonti's shirt. He's over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. I am at a Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame undisclosed location, and we're presented by the good folks over at LeBare's Casino, where this Saturday night, if you're looking for, it's the Halloween weekend. If you're looking for, which party should I go to? What bar? What's going on? Is there something where I can dress up, have a great time? I would tell you to go to LeBare's this Saturday night. It is going to be fantastic. It's Halloween. The Molly Ringwalds are in concert up in the event center. It's general admission. About 80% of everybody in there is going to be in costume. You don't have to, but you might as well, including myself. I'll be in costume. There's a costume contest between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. up in the event center. The Molly Ringwalds start at 9. And then at 10:30, we announce the 3 different category winners. The top 3 give away $5,000 in cash. It's gonna be a lot of fun. That is this Saturday night, Halloween at the LeBare's up in the event center. Check it out. And then I think AM/FM is going to be in concert at 10 o'clock down at the Edge Lounge on the casino floor. They're one of the best bands in the state of Louisiana. So a great night over at LeBare's. It was a great night if you're an Arizona Diamondbacks fan, and I am not, Tommy. So I was not happy with the fact that the Philadelphia Phillies blew a 3-2 lead. They lose Game 6. They lose Game 7 at home. Nobody thought that would happen, even against a great team. The Diamondbacks, who lost their last, I think, 5 regular season games to back into the playoffs, have been phenomenal. They sweep the Brewers. They sweep the Dodgers, who finished like 15 games ahead of them or something like that in the regular season. And then they do the impossible. They win Game 6 and 7 in Philadelphia. What the heck happened?
Well, I tell you who else didn't think it was going to happen. The national baseball announcer on MLB Network, Chris Mad Dog Russo, who I think is annoying and horrible. He promised last Friday that if the Diamondbacks won Game 6 and 7, he'd retire on the spot. So they are blowing him up like, are you a man of your word? You said you're going to retire. They won 2 straight. So, everybody, there's a new time slot open on MLB Radio Network. I don't know how you can walk that back. I mean, if he says, okay, I was kidding or whatever, and next time he ever says anything, I mean, he really made either that or he was ready to retire. And I didn't think the Diamondbacks would win. I'd be curious to see what happens with that. But, Ronnie, I bet the Phillies the last 2 nights. I thought no way in the world, because let's back it up quickly. Philly won the first 2 games, which means Arizona won 4 out of 5, including Game 6 and 7 in Philadelphia. Now, the Philadelphia bats went south, especially their big sluggers, their key guys, and the pitching. Yeah, the Castellanos was all like 1 for 29. And then, Harper and Turner and them guys didn't hit last night in particular. But the Diamondbacks pitching had a lot to do with that. There's a bunch of guys nobody ever heard of. They brought 2 guys in last night. I got to tell you, Ronnie, you know me, I'm a baseball dude. I didn't know who these guys were. I'm like searching, like, did he play college? Did he go straight to – but anyway, the Diamondbacks have shocked the world, and they'll play Texas. And, Troy Lovello, the manager of the Diamondbacks, has gotten criticized a little bit about some of his pitching moves and changes, but they're in the World Series. Now, Ronnie, 2 years ago, both of these teams lost over 100 games. 100 games. It describes the beauty of the game we love, baseball. Anything can happen. Back in June, LSU lost by 20 runs to Florida in Game 2 of their 3-game series for the College World Series Championship. They got beat 24-4. They're the College World Series champions. That's the beauty of baseball. 2 wild card teams. Anything can happen in this great game of baseball that we all love. And that's been the storyline here. 2 wild card teams that combined regular season wins is the lowest total ever in a World Series. There's all kind of little nuggets like that that are out there. You'll see them all between now and Friday. It's quite a story. Now, the TV executive's probably not real fired up about having Arizona and Texas, although Texas is in the Dallas metro area. But still, I mean, it's as you know, Ryan, I've been a big Rangers fan. I already got Rangers gear. So when you see me put a billboard later this week, I didn't buy it last night. I got hats, I got shirts, I got the big polo over top, the quarter zip. I've been a Rangers fan for a long time. Somebody asked me why. Ronnie, about 10, 12 years ago when the cable TV world was different, in Baton Rouge market here, we used to get the Rangers like every night, like just about every night. So and I didn't have the baseball package then. Now I do. So I would be like, hey, I'm a Rangers fan. I knew the lineup. I knew who was coming out in the pen, and I've never wavered off of that. And when they got Bruce Bochy, I'm like, hey, this guy, third different team he's taken to the World Series.
Unbelievable.
Right? And so I'm a big Rangers fan, even though I didn't think they would get it done. They did. I certainly didn't think Arizona. My heater came to a screeching halt on the last two games in Philadelphia. I missed both of those. But, hey, I'll be glued to the TV Friday night. And, it's the World Series. It's going to be pretty cool.
I mean, these series have all been incredible, right? The ALCS, the NLCS, both went to Game 7s. I mean, that doesn't happen. And then the Astros, who everybody thought they would win it. The Rangers, everybody wins on the road. That whole series, the road team won, which that's incredible. But last night, Arizona Diamondbacks. Is it Fat? Is that how you say his name? P-F-A-D-T. Okay, who's the starting pitcher?
It's kind of a funny thing, yeah.
Okay, so Fat. This dude, Game 7, and they throw a dude. I think his record was like 3-9 or something. He had gotten demoted to AAA at some point during the year. That's who you go with in Game 7, and they win. I mean, it's just the story is absolutely incredible. A bunch of no names, a team that underachieved, a team that the Dodgers were clearly the best team in the league. You know what's interesting is that there was a lot of talk by the Braves in particular about how they didn't like the fact that, they felt like that week off hurt them. They felt like the week off where, hey, we get a bye, the season's over with, that just, long time off was a negative, and that the wild card teams benefited from the fact that they kept playing. Interesting concepts, but both wildcard teams are in the World Series, and both wildcard teams were not the best teams during the regular season.
Well, that's easy to say after the fact, okay? If you have the time off and you get a pitcher that comes back because he was able to rest, or you get somebody else who heals up a little bit, that's kind of like the double, triple, flea flicker reverse in football. If it works, it's a great call. If it don't work, it's the worst call you ever saw. So I attribute it to that. I mean, baseball's baseball. Everybody knows the rules going in. To pause, whatever. I mean, I think it's good for baseball because if you lose 100 games this year, what Oakland did and somebody else did, then, 2 years from now, you could be in the World Series if things go your way. So it gives life to fans all across the league. And, the TV ratings have not been there. In fact, the Monday night game for the Phillies and the Diamondbacks got blown away by the ratings on the 49ers Vikings game. It wasn't even close, okay? It was huge to the NFL. So anyway, hey, the baseball purists and the guys who love it, like me and you and many of my friends, we had a lot of group text messaging going on. I mean, hey, it's baseball. It is what it is, and you just never know. And it's all about who's playing the best right now. And we've seen that with LSU baseball for decades now. You get hot at the right time. Remember LSU this year, Jay Johnson's team, he had a couple weekends in May when things didn't go all that well. Bullpen was terrible. I mean, there were base running mistakes. Some things didn't go like you want. But they're the College World Series champions. They're the national champions. So that's the unique thing about baseball is that, things like that can happen. And we've seen it play out this year in MLB.
Please hit that like button if you're joining us right now. Appreciate you tuning in. A couple of little notes about last night's game. The game was over. Phillies are in shock. 45,000 plus fans are shocked and sold out crowd. Could possibly be Aaron Nola's last game in a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. Obviously, Game 6, he was the loser. He's a free agent. He is going to be a sought-after free agent. He's going to have tons of offers. Does he take less money to stay in Philadelphia, or does he take the money if it's too great to go someplace else? Would love to see him end up an Astro or a Ranger, someplace right nearby where we got a shot of actually seeing him pitch in person more likely. But he said he expressed his desire to return to Philadelphia. We shall see, but will be an interesting offseason for him, and he will be a very rich man after this offseason as well.
More rich than he already is. Be curious to see how that plays out. Of course, from a contract, a business standpoint, you say, oh, I'd love to return to Philly. I mean, you got to say that, I mean, that's posturing, and that's fine. Everybody does it in all the leagues, from the NBA to the NFL. I'm sure it happens in hockey, although I don't follow that stuff. But, hey, it is what it is.
By the way, the Rangers minus 178. You got to lay $1.78 to win $1, or the Diamondbacks plus 138. I don't know how you bet against the Diamondbacks. I mean, with what they've done in the postseason, rolling through the Brewers on the road, rolling through the Dodgers, arguably the best team in baseball, and then to go on the road and win Game 6 and 7 in Philly. Philly hadn't lost at home in the month of October. It's one of the toughest places to play. Cinderella, baby.
Cinderella, but let me tell you something. The Rangers have a lot of bats, not just Garcia and Sager and Simeon. I mean, they play baseball, man. They're really good at top to bottom. I mean, you got guys hitting 8th or 9th like Heim and these people. I mean, it should be a heck of a series. It could be 7 games. I mean, who knows? But, I'm looking forward to it, and you just never know in baseball. We've all learned that lesson hundreds of times in the decades that we've been following the great game of baseball.
So move over to the NBA. The season tipped off last night. The Nuggets, defending champs, knocked off LeBron and the Lakers. The Pelicans in action tonight in Memphis will be their first game of the year. Pelicans find themselves a 1.5-point favorite in Memphis. And I'm excited to see, even though the Pelicans have a couple players out, a couple starters out, they have the big three and Ingram and McCollum and Zion Williamson that are going to be playing together. They've only played, I think, 10 games. Those three have all been healthy in the same lineup together. So, and Charles Barkley last night on TNT said, in his opinion, in the West, the Phoenix Suns, the Nuggets, and the Lakers are the 3 teams that have a chance to win the West. He said, but my wild card, surprise potentially would be the Pelicans. If I had to pick some other team to be red hot and surprise everybody, come out of nowhere, he said I would take the Pelicans if Zion is healthy. If he keeps his weight down and he's healthy, that team can be the surprise team. Over in the East, everybody thinks it's the Bucks and the Celtics. But tonight they tip off in Memphis, and I'm pumped to see. Yeah, last year the Pelicans were really good until January, and then when Zion got hurt, that was it. Season was over.
Well, a lot of the gurus are picking the Pelicans to win 41, 42 games, which means they're thinking they'll be a 500 club. But all teams depend on the healthy in the injury report, more so with the Pelicans, and magnify that to Zion Williamson. If he can stay healthy and they can manage through all of that, if you got to sit out a game on a back-to-back, that's what happens in the NBA now. If he stays healthy, I agree with Barkley. They could maybe make some noise. If he gets hurt, they're going to be that 38 to 42 win team and maybe piddle around. And 10 teams make the playoffs now with that play-in thing. The other thing, Ronnie, in the NBA, there's an in-season tournament beginning November 3rd. Let me tell you this, though, Ronnie. It's kind of like the NASCAR standings or the World Golf Rankings. Nobody can understand it. Nobody knows how it happens. There'll be a lot of people, even the people who follow the NBA every day, like Trey Blossman, who I do a podcast with. He even says it's very confusing to him. So if he's confused, I don't even want to try to figure. We'll just let it play out, see what happens. So, and hey, by the way, all you people that like to bet at the Barstool Sportsbook, now you can throw the NBA into your list of the NFL and college football and MLB World Series. It's all out at the Barstool Sportsbook.
The in-game tournament, that's a soccer thing. They've been doing that over
in-season tournament. Yeah.
In-season tournament. They've been doing that for years in soccer, the FA Cups and all the different specialty cups. I am curious to see how it goes. And I like the idea. What they're trying to do is get some juice before Christmas Day. Pretty much for most people, the NBA doesn't really start till Christmas Day when they have that 5 games on Christmas Day or whatever. And so they're trying to get some interest and juice beforehand. Saints, 1.5-point dog on the road against the Indianapolis Colts this weekend. Must win, Tommy. It's a must win.
I think you watch the game like this, you peek a little bit and you say, hey, what's happening? I mean, I don't know how you could bet this game. The Colts just scored a bunch of points. You know, they got a backup quarterback, Derek Carr yelling at Chris Olave. There was a hot mic on that now. He said, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing? Run, because he cut that route off. And then he gets arrested for reckless driving 2 nights later. So just who knows what the Saints and the Colts.
Did you see where Michael Thomas defended? I mean, well, kind of, I don't want to say diffused it, but Michael Thomas came out and explained what happened on Twitter.
I didn't see that.
He basically said, he explained the route. He said that Olave was just supposed to be a clear out. He was never going to get the ball. He was supposed to just run super hard, get out of there, clear out for Taysom Hill, who was option 1. And then he was like 22 was second and 13, you know, meaning himself, was the third option. He said the problem was he only looked at 7. Olave didn't clear out. He didn't know if he underestimated how fast Taysom was going to be coming. He didn't run his route correctly, but Carr just like didn't look to 22 and 13. He was never supposed to throw to Olave, and it's like he got frustrated and just threw it. You know, like you're supposed to go 7, 22, 13. Olave was never supposed to be an option. He was simply clearing out the route. So, I think it's Ed Carr said, "Hey, look, I got to calm down. I got to do it." Yeah, I mean, look, Olave got targeted, I think, 13 times in that game. I mean, it's just the Saints are a mess. And look, the over/under on that game is 43.5. Tommy, we know the Saints defense is good, but with no help from the offense, the defense can't do it all. It's got to be frustrating for them. They got to be tired, etc. But the way that the Colts put 38 on the board against the Browns defense is pretty decent. I like the over. How can you not like the over with the Colts at home? They're feeling confident a little bit.
I'm thinking you could find value somewhere else if you.
No, I'm not going to bet it. But I know
what you're saying. I mean, we always do that. A lot of times we make a bet. Sometimes we have a feeling on a game, and we maybe sometimes we mean to bet it and we don't. You and I have both done that. We're like, oh, I forgot to hit the button, you know. But anyway, so we'll see what happens on that. But you know,
I like the Colts and the over.
You like the Colts and the over, okay? And if the Saints lose that game, ooh. We'll see. You know,
if the Saints lose that game, I don't have a lot of confidence. I mean, they've got to get to 9 wins. You start looking at the schedule. Where are those 9 wins going to come from? You know, you keep letting the Falcons get hot, then the Falcons are going to at minimum split, you know, with you. And so you got to figure out how to get the 9. This is a game on paper where they should be able to go get a 9. And if you've got hope that they're going to beat these other teams, when does it start? When do they start to turn it around? It's got to be this week when they had 10 days off, you know. And so we shall see. TK, tell us about Tremonti's.
Well, one thing that's going on in Tremonti's, Ryan, I want to make this, someone get this up here for you. There's a huge liquor sale this Friday and Saturday. Every bottle in the store, vodka, rum, bourbon, scotch, you name it, everything in the bottle is going to be on sale. Friday and Saturday at Tremonti's. Huge liquor sale. You can load up for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, stock your liquor cabinet, get those extra things, maybe even buy some bottles of liquor to use as a Christmas gift or an office gift for somebody. Huge liquor sale. They've never done this before, but every liquor, not the wine, every liquor, tequila, the whole bit, will be on sale. Every bottle has some kind of sale price on it. Friday and Saturday. We'll remind you about that Friday morning, so we want you to stop by Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, right down the block from Parkview Baptist Church and School. For all you deer hunters, they do deer processing here. You bring that deer in, they'll put it together for you the way you want it and have it ready in a couple of weeks. That can be for the holidays as well.
All right, we'll be back Friday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. Until then, please like and share. Appreciate you tuning in. For Tommy Christ, I'm Ronnie Rance. You've been listening and watching Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino.